Hello everybody! I'm, like, tired today, so I'm not gonna be, like, super intense! But today I'm going to be covering more development tips and stuff. Also, they finally got rid of this gray bar at the top of Roblox. Anyway, they also made all this nice stuff. Wait, this... You have emotes here now. Why is this so awesome? Anyway, so today I'm going to be covering how to get your game noticed on Roblox. So, before we start this video, if you made, like, this is gonna sound kind of rude, but whenever I give development advice, I am brutally honest. If you made a game and you used more free models than original code, even by 1%, then it's not worth advertising. All my old games were just so terrible. They were just free models. I didn't do any original code for them. And nobody played them, even when I spent money advertising them. So I was a little upset, but it was just, what did I expect? I expected something to actually happen, but it was so bad. It was so bad. But, anyway, back to the video. The main ways of getting your game noticed are either shelling thousands upon thousands of Robux into advertising, which that's self-explanatory. You can either get really lucky, which I'll go into in a minute, or you might, if you have another game that's popular, you might just get a little bit of traction to your other games from that. And then there's also the off chance that a big influencer plays your game, which, let's be honest here, not really going to happen unless your game is already on the front page. So, now that we've gone over all of that, let's talk about it. So, if you're going to, so as far as getting lucky goes, this just doesn't matter. It's just getting lucky. Like, you do not rely on getting lucky for your game to get popular. And then as far as, you know, a YouTuber playing your game goes, maybe if you, like, know some YouTubers personally, you could ask them to check out your game, but that's, again, a very rare privilege to have. So now we're going to be going into what you can actually do to get your game noticed on Roblox without pouring in thousands and thousands and thousands of Robux. Or getting absurdly lucky to get your game at least noticed and a couple people playing it. So one of the first things you can do is, why are these portals not showing? Whatever. So one of the first things you can do is just ask your friends to play your game, because if your game has a name that's kind of like, I don't know, let's say a murder mystery. You made a murder mystery game, you named it Murder Mystery Epic or something. I know that's a super generic thing, but if you just play your game with some of your Roblox friends, then it is likely enough that people will notice that there's a murder mystery game when they look up murder mystery on the games page, and they'll notice that it has actual people playing it. Now, this one does take a ton of time and a lot of playing your game with friends, but that's also free not beta testing. That's also free bug finding, so, like, whatever. This one takes a very long time, but it's free, and you get to play your game with your friends, and you get to find bugs for free, so it's really a good decision if you want to get your game noticed and you don't have a lot of Robux or fame, or anyone that has fame that you know that you can ask to play your game. It's just stuff like that. And then another method that you can do is you could just put in like 2,000 Robux into advertising your game, which really isn't a lot of money. That's like $20. So if you're making a game, it's not unlikely that you might have a budget of $20 to advertise your game. So if you do indeed have $20 to advertise your game with, then that's actually a decent method. I did get one of my games up to like 3,000 visits with that, and it actually made more money back than it cost. That's probably very inconsistent to get your money back. if you only put in 2,000. The more Robux you put in, the amount of money that you'll get back just exponentially increases. And then also, if you, again, don't have, like, much Robux, or you just have, like, premium level 1, and you don't buy a lot of Robux, and you just don't want to do that, or you just don't have enough money to do that, one thing you can do is, I can't speak, one thing you can do is to, instead of just getting your friends, just have a thing where people, even if your game is, like, super, you never do any advertising, you don't play it with your friends, there will always be that one guy that joins your game. Just for the sake of it. I do this all the time. I just look at random people's games. Usually I am thoroughly disappointed because I see a cool title and I'm like, oh, this could be interesting. And then it's just a simulator or something. You know what I mean? And if your game is interesting and fun to play and all of that good stuff, then you can just make it so that you have some kind of bonus for if that player invites their friends to the game. Like, maybe they get 100 coins for inviting their friends. And then also have stuff in the game that requires multiple people to do, but never have your game have nothing for a single player to do. That is the downfall of all my old games. They were just PvP games with free models. And I think I did, like, 50 lines of my own code for some of my old games. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how you're going to get your game noticed. I'd say that probably the best one is to just play your game with a bunch of friends, and then eventually people will notice, hey, this game has a lot of people in it. And then they'll play it. If you can get your game up to 50 players from doing that, just invite a bunch of friends, maybe, you know, play with your friends after school or something. Again, you can only do this if your game is actually of high quality, and there are like 50% more I can't speak. And there are just very few free models compared to your own code and design and all that good stuff. If you use like a tree free model, I really don't care. But if you just use sword free model and money free model and shop free model, then that game is just not going to feel right. Everything's going to be out of sync. It's just not going to be a fun game to play. But if your game is high quality and you just have a bunch of friends and you play it, and then you get your friends to invite their friends, well then if you get your game up to about 50 players and you have a title that some people somewhat search, you might actually get your game kicked off and get, you know, players. This actually happened to me once. It didn't last very long, but it did happen to me once. There were like 10 people playing my game. I was just playing it with friends. We were derping around, fighting with swords, and then just a bunch of people started showing up. And then just, there were like 50 people in it at the end of that, and now nobody plays that game anymore, but it was fun. It was interesting. It does work, but you have to, you know, make sure there's enough reason for people to come back and play your game more. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. I'm probably underqualified to be giving you this advice, but I'm more qualified than some people to be giving you this advice. Alright, bye.